Tupac's former collaborator Spice One is speaking out against Jay-Z being named the greatest rapper of all time and spilling new details on how Jay was afraid of Tupac.
I think that if Pac was alive, it would have been a whole different story. And as much money as Jay-Z has, he still hasn't accomplished what Tupac accomplished before he was at 25 years old.
Rumors are flying around that Jay-Z knew his friend Diddy was allegedly plotting a hit on Tupac, but he didn't say anything because he wanted all of his competitors gone.
We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist.
Fans are now saying it's kind of suspicious how a lot of people who came up with Jay and Diddy have either disappeared or passed away, and meanwhile the two of them remain close to this day. But what's the real truth about Jay's relationship with Tupac? Billboard magazine recently named Jay-Z the greatest rapper of all time, above legends like Tupac and Biggie, which didn't sit right with a lot of hip-hop fans. Even some fellow rappers chimed in on the controversy and said Billboard's list is BS because as talented as Jay is, people simply don't listen to his music like that. When Ice Cube was asked to comment on Billboard's choice, he said that the list is irrelevant because Billboard knows nothing about hip-hop.
I want to get your thoughts on Billboard just put out their top 50 rappers, and I know it's totally...
Who?
Billboard.
I don't fuck with Billboard or the editor.
I know it's totally subjective, but they put you at 18. How does that sit with you? Is that good or bad, or what do you think about that?
Billboard ain't hip-hop, so their opinion don't matter.
Right.
So who gives a fuck?
Lil Wayne, who came number 7 on Billboard's list, also commented on the controversy and said he's the one who deserves the top spot.
But in this particular list, right, Wayne came in at number 7. Now, for a lot of people, that would be like number 7. Number 7.
Man, who the hell was before me?
You are not at number 7, bro. I would say you're a 1, 2, or possibly 3.
Bro, I would tell you that I am a motherfucking 1.
As for fans, many of them took to Twitter to say Tupac should be number 1, and some of them even accused Jay of paying Billboard to put him on top. Billboard naming Jay-Z as the best rapper of all time is a fraud that should be faulted, one fan said. Tupac is the greatest rapper of all time. This is why you shouldn't believe all that is written in the history books. Jay-Z doesn't even come close to 50 Cent in the rap business. This is sick. Meanwhile, the controversy surrounding Billboard's list also reignited rumors about Jay-Z benefiting from Tupac's death, and many fans said that if Pac and Biggie didn't die so young, Jay simply wouldn't stand a chance. Now, to give you some context, there were a lot of rumors back in the day that Jay-Z was terrified of Pac surpassing him because he knew he didn't have Pac's charisma. See, despite Jay's talent for wordplay, Pac had that it factor that couldn't be taught or replicated. Jay-Z even engaged in a public beef with Pac shortly before Pac passed away, and it all started after Jay joined forces with Pac's rival Biggie to diss West Coast rappers. Jay-Z and Biggie, who both hail from Bed-Stuy, New York, became friendly in the early 90s, and in 1996 they collabed on Jay's breakthrough track Brooklyn's Finest. And it was this track that reportedly sparked a feud between Jay and Pac. Irv Gotti, who worked on Jay's debut album Reasonable Doubt, later said he tried to warn Jay about putting Biggie on his track because the tensions were already high with the whole East Coast versus West Coast beef.
I'm gonna tell you, you gotta go back to Brooklyn's Finest. I was dead set against it. I was telling Jay, don't do it. And he was like, why? And I was just like, he's too strong. I said, but before we take over the world, we got to take over the West Coast. Before we take over the West Coast, we got to take over the East Coast. Before we take over the East Coast, we got to take over New York. Before we take over New York, you got to take over Brooklyn. And he owns all that. And I was like, this is not a whack. So I was just like, I was in fear that I was like, yo, you may come off like this little man. You understand?
And though Pac and Biggie were initially friendly, they fell out sometime around 1994 after Pac was robbed and hit 5 times at the Quad Studios. Pac apparently believed that Biggie and Diddy knew about the setup and failed to warn him. However, Biggie later denied this.
Yeah, I think Pac was more upset that that word was getting back to him, that the people that did do this to him was affiliated one way or another with Biggie and them, whether they was extorting him or word got back that they was going to do this to Pac. So this is one of the reasons that Pac was upset.
But things quickly escalated after the Quad Studios incident, and Pac and Biggie started publicly throwing shots at each other. Shortly before Jay dropped Brooklyn's Finest, Biggie's Who Shot Ya came out. Of course, Pac assumed Who Shot Ya was directed at him, and the tensions between East Coast and West Coast were at an all-time high. And this is why Irv Gotti thought that Jay should wait before releasing his track with Biggie. However, Jay ignored his warnings and dropped Brooklyn's Finest. This made the whole situation even worse because Biggie directly called out Tupac in his verse, calling him his son and alluding to Pac's rumored affair with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans.
He was going right back at him. And then what Big did, which I was like, that's why Pac was on Jay because of Brooklyn's finest. If they have twins, you probably have two Pops. Get it? Two Pops. And Jay's on the record with him. So now he's like, you ain't no like me, Jay-Z. Then he start bombing on Jay.
Soon after, Pac started throwing out not-so-subliminal shots at Jay on tracks such as Bomb First, My Second Reply, and France. At this point, everyone was waiting for Jay to drop a Tupac diss track, but Jay never got around to retaliate lyrically because just weeks later, Pac was fatally targeted in a drive-by in Las Vegas. However, it turned out that Jay did write a brutal diss track called Scathing directed at Pac, and though he was allegedly scared to release it, he performed it live at the Apollo after Pac passed away. DJ Clark Kent later revealed that Scathing was crazy disrespectful to Pac, and Jay-Z apparently wanted to perform it live because he had a massive chip on his shoulder. But why did Jay insist on performing this diss track when Pac was already dead at that point? Well, there's been a lot of speculation that Jay was relieved after Pac died because he was always scared of Pac and believed he could never surpass him. In fact, according to Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, Jay was so scared of Pac that he once refused to leave his hotel room in Las Vegas after a performance because Pac and his crew were in town.
The story is that Jay was going to try to perform in Vegas, but Pac was in Vegas, and him and his dudes now. And they wasn't going to let Jay-Z come out the hotel. They found out where Jay was at. And Jay wasn't going to come out the hotel. He was going to miss that performance or whatever like that. And Jay was scared of the motherfucker. Jay wasn't coming out that hotel until he got clearance.
Many fans have also accused Jay of being sneaky because he didn't have the guts to directly diss Pac while Pac was alive. However, Jay and his friends on the East Coast were constantly taking subliminal shots at Pac and trying to provoke him because they knew Pac would react emotionally. Several rappers who were around at the same time to witness the rivalry claimed that Jay was extremely jealous of Pac's charisma and swag, and he knew no matter how well he could spit, he could never match Pac's natural charm. Nas also later implied in an interview that Jay was bitter about Pac and Biggie's success, and he once told him he was a better rapper than both of them. We were kicking it and he told me he's better than Biggie, Nas said. I looked at him like he was crazy. Then he really got crazy. He said that Tupac and DMX were not lyricists. I told him that I disagreed, that Tupac was the greatest ever, period. But that's not the only reason fans have labeled Jay-Z a snake. See, Jay also remained close to Diddy even after allegations emerged that Diddy was connected to Tupac's murder. According to former LAPD detective Greg Kading, who worked on both Tupac and Biggie's cases, multiple witnesses confirmed that Diddy paid Southside Crips member Keith D $1 million to take out Pac and Suge Knight, and Suge reportedly retaliated by having Biggie taken out.
What Suge doing? Ducking. He couldn't really duck because he was too big, you know? Yeah.
Keefe D has now identified his own nephew as the murderer of Tupac Shakur.
Bolstering Keefe D's claim was an informant in 1997 who told investigators that Puffy had hired the Southside Crips to kill both Suge and Tupac.
Diddy, however, repeatedly denied these allegations and refused to even discuss them.
Now, it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
But fans were not completely convinced because after Pac and Biggie died, Diddy started publicly praising Jay-Z and claiming Jay filled their shoes.
Bro, you filled them shoes, though. You came in and you know what I'm saying? So we definitely give thanks for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you definitely, came in, and I just know how much Big, like really looked up to Jay. You know what I'm saying? They looked up to each other. And yeah, that is crazy to have to step into the shoes of like two people, because that's all it was those two people. And they had like the game, they had things on lock. Hov was coming, you know what I'm saying? But like, it was like these two cats was just so big, you know what I'm saying? And then so it's like to have all of that, like, come on you and have that responsibility to keep this shit fly and keep the art of it going. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Hov really kept Hov kept the art of it going and was able to take where they was at and take it, take it even higher.
Many fans have also pointed out that even if Diddy wasn't directly responsible for Pac's death, he was still partly guilty by association because the Southside Crips used to run security for Diddy and his bad boy crew every time they came to the West Coast. There were rumors back then that Diddy was scared for his life because he thought Suge was after him, and he allegedly had conversations with Southside Crips planning a hit on Suge. Besides that, on the night of Pac's passing, Pac and his crew jumped Southside Crip Orlando Anderson at the MGM Grand Hotel. Anderson was Keith D's nephew, so if Keith was already promised a payout for taking out Suge, he now had another incentive to get his revenge on Pac for jumping his nephew. And though this doesn't mean that Diddy was directly responsible for Pac's death, it's interesting that Diddy apparently went to such great lengths to cover up his connection to the case. A few years ago, LAPD detective Greg Kading went on Reddit to answer fan questions, and one fan asked him, "How has Puff Daddy got away with it all this time?" Kading replied, "Puffy has made very good use of his lawyers over the years to insulate him from investigation." But despite all these allegations about Diddy that have surfaced over the years, Jay-Z stayed tight with Diddy to this day. Meanwhile, Jay turned his back on Kanye for much less, and fans are now saying that Jay-Z is sneaky and doesn't deserve the GOAT title. Tupac's former collaborator Spice One also recently spoke about this and said Jay-Z can't be ranked above Pac because Pac accomplished more than Jay in less time.
I don't agree with them ranking Jay-Z over Tupac because I think that if Pac was alive, it would have been a whole different story. And as much money as Jay-Z has, he still hasn't accomplished what Tupac accomplished before he was at 25 years old. So with all of that said, nah, I don't agree with that. Definitely don't agree with that shit. Jay-Z dope, like I said, he's dope as hell, but you can't put Tupac number 4 and put Jay-Z at number 1, you know. That don't make no damn sense.
Spice One also said it makes no sense to put Jay above Pac because people still listen to Pac more than Jay.
I mean, in me, this is just me as a consumer. I listen to more Tupac than I listen to all of that shit, all three of them. Way more. Not just because he was my friend and my homie either. And since I know this, I'm pretty sure there's a million or 6 million other people or more who feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, they listen to a lot more. I'm pretty sure everybody listened to a lot more Tupac than they listen to Jay-Z and who else did you say? It was Jay-Z and Nas and Kendrick Lamar. Everybody who's listening now, I guarantee you have listened to more Tupac than you have listened to Jay-Z, Nas, and Kendrick Lamar. You've listened to way more Tupac songs than you've listened to theirs.
Many fans are now saying they agree with Spice One because Pac made more influence on the culture by the age of 25 than Jay did in his 50-plus years. One fan said, all of them hated on Pac and still can't touch Pac, and Pac has been gone 25-plus years. They can't touch Pac in 2023. And another person commented, if there's been any debate about if you are better than someone in your profession who was 25 and has been dead since 1996, you know that Pac must be light years ahead of you because you've had over 26 years after his death to prove otherwise, yet most have reasonable doubt. But let's hear your thoughts on this. Do you think Jay was scared and jealous of Pac? And how do you feel about Billboard putting Jay above Pac on the GOAT list? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in our next video.